Welcome to the November edition of Northeast Journal. I'm your host, Joe Cullen. Coming up in the next half hour, we'll see how White Bear Lake students took a stance against bullying. We'll meet the new director of the Ramsey County Library System, and we'll get a sneak peek at a new public safety training facility. All that and more is straight ahead on Northeast Journal. Hello everyone and welcome to the November edition of Northeast Journal. I'm your host, Joe Cullen. Every month on Northeast Journal we give you an inside look at the people and places that make up the northeast section of the Twin Cities. In mid-October, students from Independent School District 624 came together for Unity Day. These students care about safe and supportive schools and want to put an end to bullying. Producer Mary Klein and photographer Nicholas Anderson have the story.
Kids will pick on me because of my weight, and they'll call me ugly or stupid or idiot, but I don't really listen to them because you know what? I know that I'm beautiful and I know that I am who I am.
I don't know a single friend who hasn't been bullied at some point in their life for being too tall, too short, too fat.
And he slapped me across the face, and by that time I was crying because it hurt. And he kept slapping me across the face, probably about 15 to 20 times. And I noticed that there was a huge circle of people standing around and no one spoke up.
I've been bullied a long time. It's because I'm a tomboy and I wear guy clothes. A lot of people think that I like the same gender when I don't, and they like to mess with me about that. Some people just think I'm different because I don't do girly things, and they think it's cool to mess with me, and they try to boost themselves up when I'm getting knocked down.
A lot of my friends, way too many of them, have had at least one really bad bullying experience. And it's just a terrible thing to go through, and I've just seen them go through that. It just breaks my heart.
People would try to see more of the chair than me as a person. It was kind of more like, well, he's different than us. He seems like an easy target. Let's pick on him.
I feel like it's the attention they get. I feel like most of them like the attention. They like having other people around them saying be mean to her. They think it's funny. And some people just do it maybe because that's how they get their anger out.
So when I bullied other people, I felt a lot better about myself because I didn't feel so, weak or powerless. When I finally let that go and actually apologized, I felt, so much better. I didn't feel like I had to hold on to this hate anymore.
There's always a reason that they're bullying someone. It's either because they're being bullied at home or because for some reason they just maybe even think it's fun, which is wrong. There's something going on up there in their brain. I personally think that it's people that don't feel good about themselves and they want to take it out on other people to make other people feel the same way that they do.
A lot of that pain that you feel can be washed away if you just trade it out for some encouragement and positivity.
Put yourself in their shoes. How would you like it? How would you feel if this was happening to you every single day, every other day, however many times a day or whatever it was, the frequency? How would you feel? You're gonna like it, or are you gonna be okay with it? Is it gonna make you happy? Probably not. So why would you want to make somebody else feel that way?
So we need to understand that what we're doing on social media translates into the real world, and this is how we're raising our children to be that way and to not care about people's feelings or that their words and actions don't have consequences. They do.
We have to be good role models in that sense. And I try to do that at school as a teacher too. You know, I really try to foster respect and empathy in my classroom all the time, and I think parents need to do that also.
If you're watching somebody get bullied, don't be a bystander. Just go up and say, hey, back off.
I recognized somebody's bullying and I stepped up to the plate and said, don't do that. If everybody thought that way, it'd be a lot less of it occurring.
To me, it's just making sure everybody has a friend, someone to lean on, someone to care for them when they're feeling down or when they're feeling happy, someone to celebrate with. Just having a friend to be with them.
We just need to stand together and stand out against bullying.
Just a simple smile can make someone's day and turn their day around.
If you witness it, you could speak out and stand up for that person.
I would go up to them and say, don't do that, that's not very respectful.
I really don't know why people would be scared to stop bullying, because it's making someone feel bad.
I don't know if it impacted me more of what the bully did or what the bystanders did by not speaking up about it. And I've always made it my goal to be the voice for someone who doesn't really have a voice, and then celebrate that person when they find their own voice.
A grand opening was held recently for the East Metro Public Safety Training Facility. This facility gives firefighters from around the area, including Lake Elmo, North St. Paul, and Oakdale, the chance to get hands-on training. Here's some highlights from the grand opening. It's time for a short break. We'll be right back to meet the new director of the Ramsey County Library System.
Heroes come from small towns.
Many of our heroes coming home from wars in Iraq and Afghanistan have a new battle, unemployment. Hello, I'm Rocky Lynn.
I'm Sergeant Dejan Farrell.
And I'm Captain Ron Jarvie. The unemployment rate for today's veteran is 12%.
That's twice the average of others living here in the Heartland.
This year, tribute to the troops, the Armed Forces, and members of the Upper Midwest ME chapter are asking you to help. Hire today's veteran.
To hire today's veteran, visit positivelyminnesota.com/veterans.
Welcome back to Northeast Journal. I'm here at the library in White Bear Lake to chat with the new director of the Ramsey County Library System, Jill Boldenau. Jill, I want to thank you so much for being here with me today on Northeast Journal.
Thank you. It's my pleasure, Joe.
And as I mentioned, you're the brand new director of the Ramsey County Library System. You replaced Susan Nemitz, and she's now out in California, I believe, and she had been the director for many years. Can you first just give us a little bit of your background, kind of your career in the libraries?
Sure. I've been working in the Twin Cities for about 25 years, and I've had a focus on education. I started my career in libraries. I worked for the University of Minnesota Library for several years, as well as for the Minneapolis Public Library. Then I transitioned from that to working for a museum, and there I produced educational programs for several years. But then I felt a need to return to the public library in particular. I was seeing just a great deal of energy and really interesting programs and services being offered in public libraries. So I joined the St. Paul Public Library as the Director of Community and Digital Services, and that was my most recent position. And I got to know a lot of the metro area libraries, including Ramsey County Library. So I'm now so thrilled to join this library system as the library director, and I've been on board since mid-September.
So what about this position, was attractive to you when you first heard about that? You thought this is something that I'd like to do with my career?
Well, the mission of the library is near and dear to me, and to be able to lead an organization that has such a transformative impact on individuals is really powerful and really something that I'm passionate about, and it also transforms the community and the county as a whole. In particular, I'm really thrilled to be able to support helping children learn to read and develop their lifelong love of learning, helping teens and kids in their school careers, also helping adults with all of the different lifelong learning interests and needs that they have. And some of the really critical work that we get to do is helping people find jobs or develop their technology skills. So this is really life-changing experiences for people, and so I love being able to work in that type of work. I also really love how libraries are at the forefront of closing some of our serious opportunity and achievement gaps. So I really want to drive the work to help everyone thrive, and so working as a director of a library is a great position to do this work.
And I imagine, Ramsey County, there's a lot of great libraries within that system and a lot of, different communities, and you have a lot of these different size libraries, and a lot of them, such as the one we're in right now here in White Bear Lake, are, brand new or really new. I know you have one that's being built in Shoreview as well, so I imagine that's attractive to have such a diverse array of libraries and communities to work in.
It is. In my first month on the job, I've toured all of the libraries and seen these tremendous facilities. They've had capital projects in all the libraries that have created these vibrant spaces that are so welcoming. We have great collections and resources in all of the libraries. So that is a tremendous place to move into. As well, we have the staff that are kind of at the heart of the library, and they bring tremendous skills and expertise. They're so committed to the customers, and they're very innovative. So in addition to that, I've also been appreciating this network of support around the library and how we have tremendous love for the libraries in Ramsey County. We have 1.6 million visitors who come through the doors every year. We have thousands of hours of volunteer time that is given to the library. We have the Friends of the Ramsey County Libraries, which is doing tremendous work and has for decades. They are currently working on a capital campaign to support some of the new special amenities at the new Shoreview Library that is under construction. So I have landed in a great place with a vibrant library system.
Well, I know we saw a lot of that firsthand covering this library. Went from, kind of beloved library here in the community, but that was kind of small and kind of needing some updates, and people didn't want to see it move. They loved having it downtown, and I know the Friends stepped in to help, raise money for a lot of the great amenities that are here at this library. And here, you're in the same space, but it's bigger. It's, able to do more things than it was before.
Absolutely, and we will be seeing that at the new Shoreview Library as well. Currently under construction next door to our current Shoreview Library, we are building a larger facility. It will become a regional library destination. It will have more space, larger collection. It will be open more hours. It will have dedicated spaces for adults as well as children and teens. And we'll have new spaces for people to have meetings or do study or group work, as well as a much bigger community program room. So we're very excited to expand the possibilities in Shoreview and regionally with this new library. It's going to open January 28th, so mark your calendars for that.
I know, it's always exciting. We've been fortunate enough in our coverage area to have been here for openings of White Bear and some of our other libraries, and even the space in North St. Paul. So it's always fun, when the community gets to come out and see it for the first time, especially when a thing's been closed for a while, and they get to come back and see their new library.
Absolutely. We'll be planning special celebrations to draw people in and have a great celebration for the opening of the new Shoreview.
So now I know you're obviously, have only been on the job for a little over a month, but what are some goals that you already have or are kind of formulating to, in your mind to have here for the next, year or two within Ramsey County?
Well, one of my first goals is to meet people. This is a big network of library users and supporters. I'm getting to know the staff. I'm getting to know their initiatives and their programs. I'm getting to know people who come to the library, our partners in schools and in other organizations who share our goals. And I really want to help build that network of library users and supporters. So wherever I'm meeting people, I'm trying to make a connection. And then long term, I'm working on supporting the library's strategic goals. So I'm working on supporting literacy and student success. I want to support economic prosperity and racial equity. I want to continue to help the libraries develop vibrant spaces for services and also make really strong connections within the communities. So those are some long-term goals that I'll continue to work with the staff on achieving.
So in other words, it sounds like you have more than enough to keep you busy for a while.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, I guess I'm sure with such dedicated staff and how involved the communities are, I'm sure that'll make your job a little easier, hopefully.
Absolutely. There's a lot of support. We're a very collaborative organization and we don't do the work alone. We're very connected to other resources and other people who, again, are in line with all of the goals that we have for the community.
Well, and these libraries are just such, such exciting things going on in them. I think I was telling you before our interview, we've done a number of stories, particularly here at this White Bear one, on everything from, really little kids and their programs, story times, all the way to, we did one on a woman who's like in her 90s and is learning to use a computer and email for the first time. So I think that truly shows that, from birth to seniors, people are finding services and things to help them here at the library.
Absolutely. That's a message that I want everyone to hear, is that there is something for everyone in the libraries, no matter what your age or your learning interests or your learning level. For children, we have these interactive spaces and programs. Some are focused on reading, like story time, and some are very active, more hands-on activities that get kids excited and help them develop learning. And for teens, I would just mention that we have some great maker spaces at Roseville Library and at Maplewood, as well as here at White Bear Lake. We have stop motion animation classes for teens. And then for adults, we've had a huge following with our programs around history and literature, bringing in great authors and talking about culture. But we also have been developing a really strong following for our technology classes and opportunities, because people wanting to learn basic computer skills or how to use more advanced software or social media, we have a whole range of classes. And we also have drop-in labs to help people one-on-one with technology. And then I also want to mention that we have a range of courses that are free that are called Skills for Life. And so you might come in and experience a program on getting your home or your garden ready for the winter, or learning how to care for someone with dementia, or getting one-on-one help with your finances. So there are so many different lifelong learning skills that we can support, in addition to having our wonderful collections in the libraries and online.
I'm always amazed when I look through the newsletters or on the website, just the range of programs for every age, from, like you say, different speakers, or sometimes they show movies or different things like that for, like I said, people of all ages. There's, on any given day, there's something going on in any one of these libraries.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would encourage anyone to come in and pick up a program catalog, because it's chock full, or go to rclreads.org, our website. We'll have all of our programs listed there, and you'll see all of our resources. Or just drop into a library and talk with a librarian and tell them what you're interested in, and they'll find something for you.
One thing, I know we're almost running out of time, but I'll add, I know just from my own experiences too, talking with many of the librarians and staff, they seem so receptive too to getting ideas. If you have an idea for what a good future program would be, that they seem, excited to research that and see if that would be a possibility.
Oh, absolutely. The staff here is so responsive to the community, and they're so plugged in to what people are interested in. That is really what drives the initiatives that we create here and the programs that we develop. So we love having that relationship and being a part of the community.
Well, Jill, I'm afraid we're out of time, but I'm so glad we were able to meet you today and introduce you to our viewers as the new director of the Ramsey County Library System, and I'm sure we'll be interviewing you many more times in the future, hopefully at some exciting events, and we just wish you the best of luck, and sounds like you've got a good vision for the future here.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate talking with you.
Thank you. And it's time for another short break. We'll be right back with more of Northeast Journal in just a minute.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing.
I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell and I had to have Meals on Wheels.
After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak.
Meals on Wheels, coming to my door as someone who's housebound, having someone check on me, assures me that I'm not forgotten.
Meals on Wheels has given me a mode of freedom that I wouldn't have otherwise.
We're the clients.
We are the clients.
We are the clients of Meals on Wheels.
America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Welcome back to Northeast Journal. Having your home or business catch fire is one of the most traumatic experiences anyone can go through. Thankfully, there's an Oakdale-based business that is helping people to recover as many items as possible after a devastating fire. Let's check out Paul Davis Restoration. Having a home or business catch fire is one of the most traumatic experiences a person can go through. Even if a person survives, there's still the task of trying not to lose items that are important. That's where Paul Davis Restoration steps in.
The simplest terms, we recover properties from catastrophes due to fire, water, mold, smoke, and even trauma. And that could be residential properties, commercial properties, restaurants, industrial, school, anything that has 4 walls and a roof.
Paul Davis Restoration is located in St. Paul and serves the entire metro area with a special emphasis on the eastern suburbs, including Oakdale. At their facility in St. Paul, they are able to clean and restore everything from furniture to toys to appliances.
So we'd come out and stop further damage from happening. We also would restore all of your personal property, which is part of what we do here in this facility. And we are fully licensed general contractors, so we do all of the reconstruction and commercial remodeling to put the property back to what it was like before anything happened.
Caleb Bruns, president of Paul Davis Restoration, is a proud member of the Oakdale Area Chamber of Commerce.
We got involved with the Oakdale Area Chamber of Commerce in 2010 when we opened our doors. And the connections I've made to the community, the connections I've made to the city, and the fellow business owners have been really tremendous and not necessarily to our success, but to validating what we do and validating being part of the community.
For more information on Paul Davis Restoration and their services, visit their website at pauldavismn.com. We're just about out of time on this month's Northeast Journal. This last story is one that's close to my heart. Area resident Joe Cullen recently wrote a book called Josiah's Fire, which details her family's journey with her son Josiah, who is on the autism spectrum. The reason this is special to me is that Tani is my wife and Josiah is my son. Producer Mary Klein and photographer Ben Vinar recently took the time to tell our story.
There we go. You know, we were ready to start our lives as a family, and Josiah was doing great, and he was meeting his medical milestones. He was a little late to walk, but once he mastered that, it was kind of like, whew, that was close.
It's every first-time parent's dream, bringing a healthy baby into a happy home. And Joe and Tani Cullen were overjoyed to welcome baby Josiah into their family.
Obviously, when you have a child, you gain this love for this child.
The couple embraced their new role as mom and dad, and for nearly 2 years, Josiah's behavior was typical. But at 22 months, it was as though a light switch was turned off.
He began to really shift dramatically over about a period of 3 weeks. We started losing eye contact. He started losing the words that he had, words like mama and dada and banana and things like that. Precious words, you know.
4 months later, doctors diagnosed Josiah with autism. Throughout the years, the Cullens tried a dozen treatments, but nothing seemed to help. They made this video of Josiah as a baby, now a reminder of a more hopeful time. In 2010, after seeing a documentary called A Mother's Courage, Tani learned about the rapid prompting method, where children with autism can communicate using an iPad. Josiah, unable to speak for most of his life, finally had a voice.
I had the iPad up. It has alphabetical letters and big buttons across, and he ends up pressing the letter G. And I thought, oh, he's missing it. And he goes on to spell his first ever independent sentence, God is a good gift giver. And it was that moment that was shocking, that changed everything.
Many of Josiah's writings, all done using the rapid prompting method, are filled with stories of God, wisdom, and faith. Tani says Josiah asked her why she didn't share them on Facebook, and so she started Josiah's Fire in 2013, which led to Josiah's Fire, the book.
We realized, you know what? This might be an opportunity to share a testimony that could really bring hope to people. And that's why we decided to write the book.
Tani says the feedback she's received from around the world has been overwhelming. Although she intended the book to be for parents of kids with autism, it has touched a broader audience with a message of faith and hope.
No school today.
Huh?
She hopes, too, it will open people's minds about the minds of nonverbal children.
They're there. They may not be able to show on the outside everything that's going on the inside, but that doesn't mean we can't keep reaching toward them.
Before we go, we just want to remind you to get out and vote on Tuesday, November 8th. Since last month, you've been able to find a number of election forums and debates from our member cities right here on Channel 16. For a complete list and for replay times, check out our website at gtn.org. And be sure to tune in to Channel 16 on election night for up-to-the-minute results. And that's all we have time for on this month's show. Thanks for tuning in, and join us again next month for another edition of Northeast Journal.